It's day 50 on the PCT here in Southern Oregon, and I decided yesterday, after thinking long and hard about whether or not to proceed, to turn around. And I think it's important for me to talk about this, not necessarily for your benefit, but just so that I can go back to this when I start to doubt myself and I start to doubt why I did the things that I did on this trail. Before I left, I promised my family, my kids, that I wouldn't put myself at any risk that was unnecessary. You can't help it if you see a bear or a mountain lion or, those things just happen. But maybe don't sleep with your food or, don't try and hug the mountain lion. Just don't put yourself at any unnecessary risk. So yesterday when I was staring at that slope and the ice and the slushiness, and I just couldn't get my footing. I'd already fallen twice. 3 times. And I just thought about my family, and I thought about if they were standing right there watching me make this decision, would they want me to proceed or would they ask me to stop? I'm pretty sure they would have asked me to stop. So I did. Once I turned around and I started walking back to Fish Lake, I started doing some math in my head. I really like doing math. It calms me down. I think it's because it's an absolute. And 2 + 2 always equals 4, and it just feels secure to me. So anyway, I started doing some math and how quickly I was able to go through that snow, how much food I had, how long it was going to take me to get to Crater Lake. And I realized I don't have enough food for an emergency. So I thought, okay, great. This is perfect. Sometimes you need an excuse. Do you guys feel like that? I remember at one point thinking, man, I wish I would have sprained my ankle because then I'd have an excuse. I'd have a reason to come back. Personal safety isn't enough, right? The risk of falling off of a mountain is not enough. You have to actually have a legitimate reason for turning around, or you're just weak. You're weak and you're, whatever, fill in the blank, whatever. And I thought, as I was coming home, I was like, that's so crazy that I wish I would have hurt myself to legitimize my need to turn around. So this morning, with a clear head and a full night's sleep, I reject that. I reject the idea that something dramatic has to happen before you quit or before you make a decision to pivot. For me personally, in my personal life and on my personal journey, the risk was too high for me to proceed. And that has to be enough. Right? I have a couple of options once I get to Fish Lake. Probably going to spend a day on the internet figuring it out. The option that most people are doing right now is they're going to the Oregon Coast Trail. So I'm going to look at that because, y'all, I just want to hike, man. I want to hike and I want to go fast and I want to feel the wind in my hair. I don't want to struggle on snow. I really don't. And I think that that's okay, you know? Like, I know there's people out there who are like, oh, you're not doing it right, or the snow is part of the PCT and you just got to do it. And I just reject that, because why? Why do I have to do something for fun that isn't fun? I reject that as well. I came out here, I spent 2 years getting ready for this hike. And I rented out my house and I gave up my business and yada, 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 come do this. And I'll be damned if I do something to torture myself, to possibly injure myself, just to say that I completed the PCT step by step. That's not my journey. That's not this story. I came out for 6 months to hike, to backpack through California, Oregon, and Washington. And it has not gone according to plan. But I have backpacked in California and in Washington, or Oregon, and hopefully in Washington. So I have done what I came out here to do. And if I had to go home right now, I would be really proud about that. Because, like I said in the beginning, this is day 50. Y'all, 50 days. I've been out here for 50 days. I've set up a tent and broken it down 50 times. I've walked 50 times. Oh, I don't know how long I've walked or how many miles. I gotta check that out. I've walked a lot of miles, hundreds of miles. And I just feel really proud. And yeah, it's not as much as other people. And I haven't had to do the Sierras, or, I chose not to do the Sierras. There's other people who are doing more and better and faster and bigger. But for me personally, this is a huge accomplishment. And I feel good about myself this morning, and I'm excited about the next chapter. The other thing I could do is call my sister up in Portland, stay with her for a week while the snow melts, and then try again. I could go up to Washington and start hiking down with the southbounders. Rumor has it Washington barely has any snow. Like I said, I could go over to the coast. I even thought about coming home and doing a Alaska trip that I've been planning. I'm gonna drive up to Alaska and spend a couple weeks up there, and then maybe even take the ferry. Anyway, I digress. We're talking about the PCT right now. There's a lot of options, and I'm pretty excited to sit down with internet and a piece of paper and once again pivot. I'm getting really good at changing plans, man. Really good at it. You guys, look what I found. Is it Sasquatch hair or bear? Is that a bear? I think it's a Sasquatch, of course. It's blonde. It's caught up in the... That is so cool. I'm sure it's a bear. Remember a couple of days ago when we were walking into Fish Lake and we walked through those piles and piles of miles of the lava stone? Well, when I met up with Big Mama, I asked her, what is all this lava rock from? And she said from Crater Lake. Holy moly. So when Crater Lake exploded, it tossed its rubble over 50 miles away. And that's what we walked through the other day. I think it was day 47. Maybe I'll try and link that video if you want to see it. But anyway, I was just completely shocked that I had spent the entire day walking through the rubble of Crater Lake. It was very cool. Very cool. Look at Big Mama talking to the nice looking firefighters or rangers or whoever they are. She's asking, on behalf of all of us PCT hikers, what do the trails look like? So cute. Hello, my dear friends. It is the end of day... I don't know. I don't know what the end of the day is, but I am... Let's see. Let's try and catch you up here. After I came off trail yesterday, Big Mama took me to Klamath Falls, where I spent the night. At the time, I had a bus ticket from Klamath Falls to Portland to visit my sister. That fell through, unfortunately, so I took a bus instead to another town in Portland. One where I could get on to the trail easily, specifically Shelter Cove. Because according to the people that work at Shelter Cove, there's no snow there. So let's go. So I took a bus over to this place, got a hotel room in a 100-year-old brothel. I'm sure I won't sleep a wink because it's definitely one of those places that is most likely haunted, or at least I have listened to and watched way too many paranormal, true crime things for this to not be, the scene of some sort of movie. Anyway, so I came here this morning, and the idea was I was going to go back on trail tomorrow morning. A wonderful trail angel is going to take me to Shelter Cove so that I can hike. And then I gotta be real with you guys. I just started to panic. I don't have anxiety attacks. I don't have panic attacks. I'm not somebody who experiences those things very often. I've had them, but they're not something that I experience. But I absolutely started to have one today, as far as getting back out on trail alone and in a situation that we're not really clear what's going on. We don't have snow reports, not accurate ones. And I just got really scared. And so I reached out to a friend of mine who I hiked with in Southern California, and she got off trail because she had a knee injury. And I reached out to her and said, "Are you ready to get back out on trail?" And she said yes. So she's meeting me here on Friday, and that's 3.5 days from now. So I called the trail angel and I said, I'm not going to go to trail until Friday. I certainly can't afford to stay in a hotel for 4 or 5 days. And he said, that's cool. Just come out to my place, pitch your tent in my yard, and stay here. I was like, great. So that's what I'm doing. He has a homestead with his partner, and I am excited to hug chickens and dig in the dirt. And I told him I would help him out with whatever chores he had. And it'll be nice to just have a safe place to be for a minute while everything works its self out. I also called my mom, Mama Shred, and just had a good cry over the fact that nothing is really going according to plan. And she had some really brilliant words of wisdom, which I really appreciate. And the one that I'm holding on to for dear life right now is that sometimes we have to let go of what we want in order to make space for what we need. Thank you, Mama Shred. It's absolutely true. And that is what I'm working on today. I'm letting go of what I want to make room for what I need. So I'm going to end this very long video on that note. And thank you, as always, for coming along with me on this adventure. It's been an emotional one, and I'm really excited to get into a section of this trail that is just almost runnable. I'm not a runner, but I would like to just be able to like go straight for a really long time. And I'm really looking forward to that. So again, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to leave you with our current weather situation. Enjoy.